Let's pray. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I pray that you watch over us and everyone else. I pray that you watch over our leaders in this country to help them make better decisions each and every day. I know that some racing and stuff going on today. I pray that all those people are safe. Nobody gets seriously injured, and everybody goes home to their families. I pray that we have a good, productive podcast and that everybody listening, if they need you, Lord, I pray that they come to you and that those that are lost get a little bit closer to finding you. And in your Son's name, Jesus, amen.
Amen. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Skeptics Podcast. This will be episode 26.
26.
John Boy.
Yep.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling rowdy today. Don't know why. Energized, amped up even, you know.
I'm ready. I'm about to start hitting you with some wild questions.
Let's go, dude.
Okay. So, this podcast, at the start of the podcast, I've always been interested in conspiracies.
This guy.
One reason why it's called Skeptics Podcast, because we're the group that doesn't believe totally right-wing, don't believe totally left-wing. We have thoughts on all different things, and we might fall slightly towards a little bit more of the conservatism side. However, not to say that there is not bad conservatives out there, because not everybody's perfect. We figured that out over the last couple of years. So, one of the biggest conspiracy theories ever, possibly, it's about to get blown open wide.
Potentially.
So, what we're talking about here, what?
Just funny.
What we're talking about here, the news voice, is the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
That, and as well as the Epstein files, are supposed to be released sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, makes people wonder about a lot of different things.
Yep.
Because our old homeboy, RFK, is now on Trump's board. Mm-hmm. He's actually the health director, not technically the guy that's going to be breaking open all that stuff, which would be interesting, but I'm all about the health stuff too. It's pretty sick.
Right.
However, you've already kind of stated it. Do you think that we will actually get open, transparency, all this stuff when it comes to this? Let's start with the JFK files first.
Okay. So somebody else asked me a similar question recently about it, and I told him I'm really skeptical to believe that the government will release legitimate documents. I feel like there may be some doctoring going on. They may doctor these documents slightly. And then I know that's the kind of stuff you hate. So like imagine if they release a file, but then like they redact certain pieces of information to keep certain people or organizations safe from prosecution. And so if they were to release them and they did withhold certain names, organizations to keep them legally like safe, then really what's the point?
Right.
As well as I don't know of a time before this where anything like this has been released. Like, can you think of a time where they released documents stating, I mean, like they kind of did it with like, yes, we acknowledge that there's UFOs. Okay, cool story, brother. Nobody was denying the fact that there was UFOs. So now that you're just like, yeah, we say that they're real. Great, that's nothing. You didn't give us anything. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm curious on. Like if they just come out and they're like, yep, y'all were right. There was 2 shooters, blah, 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 blah. Here you go. It's like, cool story. That's what we thought was the case. Nothing new. I want to see new information. You see what I'm saying? Or I want to see like hard facts that confirm these ideas.
So I'm with you 1,000%, but I want to add on top of that.
Yeah.
JFK one's going to be a little difficult because this was so long ago. I mean, some of the players that possibly might have been in the game, if it was a lot more undercover than what we think it is, they're probably dead by now.
Yeah, probably.
So I don't really know how much you could actually do, but I'm with you. I want to see the hard facts, but on top of that, though, I want to see people get held accountable for things. If you were somebody that was part of the thing, brother, your life's about to become a lot more difficult.
Right.
I was watching a video recently. So have you done any kind of research, watched any kind of videos about all different kinds of things that they thought have been done to JFK?
No.
So there's thousands of theories out there.
Right.
One of the kind of theories, we do have video evidence of it, but you can't really put on exactly what it was to happen. So one of the biggest things that was talked about back when they were really trying to break this out a lot more was the lack of security that JFK had when he was going down this whole parade.
Yeah.
And there is a video out there of Secret Service guys walking by his car and them getting called off. Like that is proven. At this point, we have video evidence of it. Now, as of why, we don't know. But there's
That's still not super helpful, just saying.
What do you mean?
If I'm in an open-top car and we're going down in a parade and somebody from an elevated position shoots around at me, you walking next to the car isn't going to stop that bullet.
No. I understand. It's not stopping the bullet. It's more or less just to get cover on the president when it happens.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's like all the guys that jumped on top of Trump when he got shot at. I mean, nobody stopped the original shot, which I do think there needs to be an investigation into that as well.
Yeah.
But it's only just to react to contact to a certain group that's there. Because, just like you said, there's nothing that they're really going to do. No. I mean, one guy or even four guys walking around a car to essentially possibly get in the way of a bullet is pretty small.
Yeah, unless it was somebody who jumps out of the crowd.
Right.
Which, there's been some assassination attempts that were similar to that, where somebody like runs up on a politician. And it wasn't always presidents. There's just been certain politicians, but yeah.
So I want to wonder, like, one of my questions, the thing is, why did they get called off, and who called them off? That's too very good.
That seems fair.
Because if it's something that I don't understand, well, now I understand it, and then it debunks all my other theories about anything else that's happened when it's called off people.
Right.
So that's definitely one of them. The biggest thing now is I was listening in a press conference recently from somebody that was on Trump's board. It was some dark-haired girl, and she was speaking to, I guess, just whoever's in there, the news groups or whatever, and she said recently that they believe there is two shooters now instead of one shooter. Which, if anybody has never really looked into it, this is how it is said right now. There's a couple different theories, but I can tell you the two main ones. The first one's actually the craziest. Is when he was originally shot, he was shot through the back of his neck from the back going forward. And there's a theory out there, blows my mind, but we can look it up live right now. It's called the magic bullet theory. To where it goes through his neck, bounces off something in the car, and comes back to his head. Because if you watch the video, the best video that we could see, it does look like his. I mean, have you seen the video? You've never watched the video of JFK getting shot?
No.
Holy shoot! You might be one of the only people I've ever known that has not watched that. Like even Cammie has watched it, and she's not even.
I've seen like the aftermath and stuff. I don't think I've actually ever seen him get shot.
Oh, dude, it's an interesting video. But his head goes back like this, and you can see what looks to be a piece of matter no longer there anymore. And so that was the first theory, which is a wild theory for anybody that has shot guns ever, because not only now we've heard some bullets do some wild stuff.
Oh yeah,
but to exit a wound, come out in some kind of car, bounce off something, and come back into your head and leave the whatever you want to call it hole, I guess,
Yeah.
in your head. That just seems beyond my mind
Right.
for that to happen.
Yeah.
And then obviously the second biggest theory is that there was two shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody shot him in the back of the neck, and then somebody shot him from the head. So they're trying to open up about all this right now, which is the craziest thing. And man, I wish we could. I wish I could actually. I want to see if I could pull up a video live for you to watch the video.
Okay.
It's not gruesome or anything really.
So what I'm curious on, what's the gain? What does everybody gain from this coming out?
Gain from what?
The release of this information. I want to know what's the legitimate gain. What are people getting?
So, very valid question. I think here's the answer.
Yeah.
How much do you trust the government right now? Let's say 100% to 1%. How much do you trust the government to do good for you?
It's like a 50-50 shot.
Okay, mine's like 25. I would say, but the statistics have shown in the last couple of years, the trust in the government has just steadily gone down by a long shot. And in old school America, I don't think it was supposed to be like that. I think you would want your authorities and your higher ups to want to do good for you. I don't think that anymore. And I think the only reason that Trump would release this stuff, like I said, the JFK one's different because there's not a lot of people you can hold accountable anymore.
Right.
Probably. They're probably all dead or stuff like that. I mean, because it's happened a while ago. But now I would literally just think it's for Trump to show the people that somebody else is in charge now, and we're willing to be transparent about things to increase the trust of the government to go back up.
Right.
That's the only reason that I think that is the reason why. Now the Epstein thing, I think, totally different thing, but that is what I believe when it comes to the JFK things. I have one bar signal out here. Somebody's trying to hack my phone right now to where I can't even see
Trying to throttle it?
Yeah, trying to throttle it. But extremely interesting
let me see.
Case. But I did have...
Make sure my...
So do you know who, at first, do you know who they believe is the one that shot him?
It's Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure on that. Because, I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
1 second, I've got it live here, folks.
Lit. Live as in what, 19 something?
Yeah.
So talk us through what you're seeing.
Okay, so there's a...
Because if this is the first time you've ever watched it, talk us through live right now what you're seeing.
Okay, so the cars are driving in whatever direction they're heading. The president and his wife are in the backseat of this car. It looks like it's a 6-seater. And they just passed by like a sign in the video. And like as soon as they come around it, it looks like a projectile strikes him in the right side front of the forehead at a slight downward angle. I don't know what the degree on that would be. 15% down angle. Either way. And he falls to the left, to his left.
Does in your video, does it show?
See, and
Yep.
So
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I wonder if this video actually continues. No.
No.
So there's another part in the video. If you could find a little bit longer one,
Yeah.
I'd encourage you to kind of check it out, to where it seems to be that his wife, who's in the back seat, and her name is crossing my mind, whether she's... It looks like she's trying to get on the back of the car, and I don't know why. That's the thing that's the weirdest thing. Is
I think it's just pure shock.
to climb on the back of the car and not duck?
Yeah, I think she's trying to get away. People do weird stuff, man. Real weird.
Man, I know, but you also just saw your husband get domed right next to you.
Yeah, and she's mortified, dude. She wants to.
There's been reports that the reason why she crawled to the back was she tried to get part of his face. Which I don't know about all that.
That sounds unrealistic to me.
That sounds pretty wild.
It pretty much vaporizes.
So the biggest thing that I think they're trying to enter. So if you look at the map of, I don't know if you can pull that up. Like I said, I can't pull anything up of where the shooter was.
Yeah.
In regards to JFK. I believe it was probably behind him to the left, I think is what they said happened.
Okay.
So you just saw live on this podcast the video of him getting domed to the front. I mean, that is what you saw.
Yeah.
He got shot from the front.
Yeah.
If the shooter was from the back, how does that happen? If the shooter is from behind him, how does that happen?
I'm not sure. It would on the slimmest, like less than 1% chance, there was like a metal rail in the midsection of the vehicle that it could have ricocheted off of and come back. But we're talking that's like less than 1% because that bullet not only has to hit this small piece of metal while it's moving, but then it has to ricochet back off into his body.
Oh, I know.
And so, like, with as crazy as bullets are, that would be so rare. Like, most of the time, bullets just lodge into whatever they impact.
Right.
You know, if they hit it pretty dead on. And so, obviously, I think based on what it looked like, is there was somebody from the front
that shot him.
Yeah.
That's what I think. The one of the biggest theories out there, and it's a very interesting theory, but I definitely think it still needs some kind of look needs to go into it. So his head wound on that video it's kind of interesting looking, the way that he got hit. There's a theory out there right now that, you know, if I take like a gun and I put a blank in it, and it's like if I put it to your head, like even if it's probably from here to here, that it does have enough concussion that it can kill you.
Yeah.
So there is one group of people out there that believe the front passenger in his car is the one that actually did it. Is turned around right after the next shot and turned around and shot him. And the head wound looked weird to me. I don't know how a lot of people's head wounds look like.
I think that was pretty standard.
But it also would, if this was true, if the passenger was the one that turned around and shot him in the head, it would also explain why his wife was trying to get out of the car. And so I definitely, but I'm like I said, I'm sure the person that's in the car, that they're probably dead now. Like they're
yeah, but just based off watching that, it didn't look like a guy turned around
and shot him.
Yeah, because also, like I said, I felt like there was a slight angle to it. And yeah, okay, sure, bullets have hit things before, and then they changed trajectory, but it's not going to change that drastically. So, like, if I'm eye level with you and I shoot, it's not going to go from like an upward angle at your face to a downward angle. Your skull is round, so it's going to ride that. Whereas this, I felt like kind of impacted and went, just out the side, kind of.
So if there was two shooters, let's just say there was. Well, we'll say it.
Yeah.
Why would they cover that up? What good does it do for anybody to cover up that there was two shooters? Because I'm just not trying to think logically on for one, why do you hide this? Why is there a reason to hide this? I have my theories on why, but I'm anxious to get what yours is.
The first thing that came to mind is just, especially back in the day, there wasn't a ton of news sources, and it took a lot more time for everybody to hear about stuff, I feel like, than it does now. It's not like somebody was recording this on their cell phone at the parade, and as soon as it happens, they post it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but...
it happened on TV, yes, but then it kind of has to... there's like a delay, and people can kind of do what they want. And so if the official release, if they're like, you know what, we need to do some more investigating, we think it might have been whatever, then something shady, might have been whatever, something shady, then that gives them the time they need to be like, all right, here's the story we're going to stick to. There was one shooter. This is where he was at. This is what happened. Versus releasing like, hey, there was two shooters. We know one, don't know the other.
Okay, I would like that.
I know.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
I'm saying that there was some kind of narrative. They would have had to have had
that. That means somebody's messed with it, though.
Right, but for what reason?
What reason did they hide the second shooter?
Yeah.
I think the only reason you hide him is because he's part of something bigger than what he is. I mean, I don't know why any other reason you would hide him.
I mean, there's a couple of ways to go about that. So there's a second shooter, they cover it up.
Okay.
Let's go with this ideology.
Okay.
Let's say one of the ideas is that it was our own government, which I feel like a lot of people probably feed into that. Another idea that I could have would be it would be somebody from the public who didn't like him, similar to with the Trump situation. Okay. And then the third one, and maybe I just come up with a new one, I don't know, but what if it was another country? What if it was a foreign assassination? Somebody, like another country, didn't like what they were hearing, the progress we were going to make in a certain direction, and they decided, we're going to take this guy out. And then our government said, we don't want all-out war with these people, so we're going to cover it up.
You don't think that initiates a war?
It would. That's what I'm saying. That's why they would cover it up.
You would not be okay with that war?
What do you mean?
If Trump got shot right now from another country, what would you think?
We should probably...
It's go time.
Take care of business.
It's go. I don't think anybody would turn that down. And we're talking about we're talking about the military complex right now.
What if somebody did though? What if somebody did turn it down? What if they caught an assassin from another country and they turned it down?
I still think there would be some kind of information to give the public, because we're no longer these people's friends. I mean, even if say we weren't before, but I would say that is under the means of something that I personally would be completely okay with initiating a war, and I don't see. My personal opinion is, I think our government did it to Kennedy because Kennedy didn't want to send wars. That's what I think, because the military complex is one of the biggest money things in the entire world.
Right. And
JFK did not want. He wanted to just shut down NATO completely. Like, he didn't think it was worth anything anymore. Nowadays, I don't think it's what the fudge that it even means anymore. It's got us in more trouble than it's got us in good anytime soon. But if it was another country, the only reason I would see them covering it up is if we knew about it. That's the only reason we would cover it up.
What if we caught the guy? And they're like, we know that it was.
But no, I'm looking at it from a way more darker perspective. If they caught the guy, then why call out Lee Harvey Oswald?
Because I need somebody to blame. He died. Somebody has to go to jail for that.
Exactly. We're saying the same thing here. So this person from the other country, it's time for them to get held accountable.
Well, yeah, but I'm not saying that they're not in prison or were in prison.
You think they put somebody in prison and didn't tell the world about it?
Oh yeah,
I don't think that.
dude.
Why?
We have places all over where we like capture terrorists and keep them.
No, I understand that, but I want to know who's there.
Good luck. There's a whole prison right now full of people that you don't know that's there.
What good is it not to do that though?
Because now you don't even have to know.
But we need to know though. Like, why is it not good to know that? You see what I'm saying?
What do you have to worry about? What do you have to lose? What do you have to gain either?
Peace of mind.
Like if they know, like let's say there's some terrorists overseas right now, who's like leading the charge.
Okay.
And we're like, you know what? We're gonna take care of this guy, and we roll him up. They go, they grab him, they bring him back, and they put him in a high security military prison.
Okay. Let us know that.
And they're like,
why not let us know that?
And they're like, we have what's the wording?
Because this isn't one of those. This isn't one of those protect the public.
We have dealt with so and so who was a threat. They're no longer a threat. We've taken care of it.
But brother? I'm still not seeing what you're getting at though. What's the end goal of not telling us?
Because there's a lot of people out there who like, I feel like it stresses them out, and it
stresses them out to know that they've been locked up or dead.
Yeah, because they think that we're doing bad as a country, as well as there's people out there who
I'm still not following.
Who are what's the they don't think we should be in these places doing these types of works and getting these types of people, and so
no, I agree on that on a certain extent.
And so it's like, well, if we don't tell anybody and we just go nab the people we want to nab, then
I think that's us still doing something shady. I think the only reason they would not tell you is because there's something shady done. It's the only reason why you wouldn't tell anybody a lot of stuff is because there's something shady done about it. It's like in that case, they didn't even have to tell us they got bin Laden. Like they could have just left it.
Right.
But they told us. Now, whether they really did or not,
I'm trying to think of an analogy.
I don't know. But just me knowing deep down in my soul that we potentially got bin Laden and he's dead, that makes me feel good, dude. That's one of the biggest terrorists down. Yeah. Potentially, to some degree, might be part of 9/11. But, yeah, that's fine. I mean, yeah, I don't even care if you tell me you took him to an island or something like that, just somewhere. But if I was somebody, say I was somebody that was like hunted by terrorists, like if they just went off the face of the earth, dude, I'm panicking my whole life because I don't know where they're at, but now I know that they're in a locked up vicinity in Alaska in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that makes me feel kind of good, and that's what because you know what else that does? That does the one thing Trump wants everybody to think. It strikes fear in everybody.
But what about this ideology where it's like, it's great here and there's nothing to worry about?
I don't like that.
It's all taken care of.
There's no way it's not. There's no way though. We've already figured that out.
Don't worry about it. They got it.
But we know they don't. Like that's what we're talking about. The trust levels of the government's at an all-time low right now.
I know.
Like if we were told they were going to go get a second bin Laden right now, every person here would be like, "There's no shot that's happening."
But do you see what I'm saying?
No.
So if that's what they did, if they've taken care of it, and they're like, "We're just going to keep it under wraps. Nobody worry about anything
because it's shady."
Listen, and now, over time of them continually doing that, nobody trusts them anymore.
But why would they not want you to trust them? Is what I'm saying.
They don't care.
They gotta care, brother.
The people at the top, man. I don't know.
The crooked ones at the top, they have a plan for everything. But once again, we're now talking about crooked people. If we're saying there's no crookedness involved, you have a terrible business plan.
All right, out of all the politicians, what's the percentage that you think are good?
Out of all politicians, like everywhere around the world?
No.
Siri's trying to tell me
Calm down, girl. No, the ones in the U.S. I don't care about the other countries. No offense to the other countries. I like y'all. I'll travel to your places, but I have to concern about my own politicians. So,
how many is crooked?
Yeah, her Jaime's good.
75%.
75% is bad.
Yep.
All right, then. That's a astronomical percentage.
Yeah, but you're still not making a point, though. That's what I'm saying. Unless I'm just not seeing the point.
My point is if they've been bad.
Yes.
And they've been covering things up.
Correct.
And just going, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So
that's what's led us to here.
But we're still
that's what I'm saying.
We're still admitting that's bad, though. Like, we're still admitting that.
I never said it was good.
Like, I thought you were saying that there was a point to where it is good if they did not tell the world about something.
I'm just saying that's how we've ended up here, I think.
Oh, no, that's for sure.
Yeah, no. That's all I was getting at.
And it's because the people, like you said, the people at the top don't give a crap.
No, especially if there's 75% of them are the ones that's...
Because all they care about is money and power.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care that the guy behind the desk at the FBI is getting railed online because nobody trusts the dude anymore.
Did that happen?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
What that one guy that lives in Russia right now? What the heck is an Edward Snowden? You know who he is? Yeah. He came out to be a whistleblower and said that, hey, we had word and knew that something like 9/11 was going to happen, but nobody did anything about it.
Yeah.
So, and it sucks that he's in Russia because if he's lying, I love this question. Mm-hmm. If he's lying, what does he have to lose? He can't come back to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
He can't see his family.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see his kids.
Yeah.
He's stuck over in Russia. What did he have to gain out of that?
Fame, popularity. I think he wrote a book, made a bunch of money.
Oh no, he still made money, but he's still not home though, brother. Like
I know, but some people don't care.
Oh, he cares.
We literally had a guy.
I think he cares.
Who put in the comments that he wants to leave.
I know. I want that guy to leave.
Okay, so now imagine you're putting a big show on. You're like, here's what I found out. And then you release a book, you make your money, and you're like, all right, cool, I'm going to go live a good life somewhere else.
That's fine. He can go. He's crooked. What I'm not understanding.
I'm saying, what if he's not telling the truth? Does that make sense? If he's lying about it, what does he have to gain? Telling this story, he gains popularity, and he'll have some kind of monetary gain.
And then he gets to move out of the United States.
Yeah.
That's a win. What are we talking about? That's what we want.
I know.
The people that don't like here to leave.
That's what I'm saying. But now imagine.
I don't care how much money you make. Just leave. Like, you can go make millions. I don't. But
what I'm saying is, what if Edward wanted to leave? What if he?
I don't think he wanted to leave, and I don't think his family wanted him to leave.
How do you know that though?
Why isn't his family with him? Why is he still married, but his family's not with him?
I don't know. Maybe he's a dirtbag. I don't know.
I don't think that's reasonable.
What's not reasonable about that? People leave their families all the time and they never come back.
I know, but he's still married and he's just over there?
Yeah, that happens too. I follow a guy who serves people divorce papers all the time who are super hard to find. That's his whole job, is he finds people.
But we know where he's at.
That are hard to find.
We know where he's at. We know why he's there. It's because they said you cannot live in the United States anymore because you did not abide by this rule.
Yeah.
And I think it's commendable that he's still holding out.
Yeah, but
it's like imagine the day, John Boy, where we're all Christians.
Yeah.
And they come up and they say, you're not allowed to be here because you're a Christian. And you're not going to fight it out. Let's just say there's no fighting it out.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to kick you out. I would hope deep down, and I know you would, stand on it. And wherever you're at, I mean, stand on it till the day you die. What's that one thing that everybody was saying about Sean Strickland with the whole? It's way off, but it's kind of not off. You remember the one, the guy from Arkansas that fight said that Hitler wasn't a bad guy.
Oh, Bryce Mitchell,
whatever. And then he goes back on that, and he's like, "Oh, I was just saying some stuff or whatever." Sean Strickland was like, "I don't even watch MMA, but I think I like that dude a lot."
Yeah,
he's like, he was like, I had a little bit of amount of respect for you when you said that because if you truly believe that, you should be able to say it. He goes, but now you're doubling back on it like just a wuss. He goes, I don't have no respect for you anymore. He's like, if you're going to say something, you truly believe it, you better stand on it till the day you die.
Yeah.
And he didn't. So I think this Edward Snowden guy, I think he's standing on what he believes.
But what else has been done since he come out with that stuff? Nobody, like, there's been no progress made.
Brother, what does that show to everybody else that wants to do that?
Okay, but who else has done it?
Exactly my point.
So,
if you knew deep down that 9/11, something like that, was tampered with, and now you just saw your buddy Snowden go to Russia, he has to leave his family, his money, everything, all this, he has to just go over there.
Yeah.
How much of that deep down is going to be like, I probably don't need to say anything. I like my family. I like where I live. I like all this other stuff.
I know
it's that hard line you have to ride on. Well, what are you going to do that's right?
So I feel like there's two sides to that. Because I do think there's certain things that go on in the world at a bigger level that people don't know about. And that I think would become, it would almost be like a war of the worlds. Like everybody against everybody. Because I feel like everybody's done everybody wrong on some level with these higher-ups.
Okay.
Somebody's cheating somebody. Somebody's cutting a deal with somebody who they're not supposed to cut deals with. Okay. Stuff like this always going on.
Okay. I'm following.
And so those are the types of things that they call like the state secrets, right? The stuff that happens in the United States where we've cut deals with people or this or that to have gain in other areas. And so if you are in charge of all these people's lives who live here and you don't want them to be invaded and everybody have to go to war with another country and that country have to go to war with another country, and now you've got all these countries fighting each other, then I feel like some of these people, they keep it on the quieter side. And people who take jobs working for those types of guys are supposed to abide by the rules that they have in place.
Okay.
And so that's like if you come to me and you tell me a secret about your family.
Okay.
And you expect me to keep it because we're close and I've agreed to.
Yep.
But then I say, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to release all this information about your family. And then I run away. That kind of sounds like a chicken to me. Like if I've agreed that I'm going to uphold,
Brother,
whatever you tell me,
you're
no
missing
matter
something, though.
No matter what.
You're missing a key element.
No matter what, I'm going to uphold what you said.
Yes.
And then I go, here's the news, everybody. And I tell everybody the news, and then I run away.
It's a chicken. He didn't run, brother. We sent him there. There was no running.
I don't feel like we actually shipped him there. I'm pretty sure he left.
You get locked up, and you're like, you're going to be locked up here forever, or you're going here.
I don't think I think he left, though.
I know, brother, but I don't see it. I'm not seeing it in the same way that you're saying.
Like, where was he when he released the information? Was he stateside?
I think the first time he released all the information, he was stateside.
I'd be curious on that. Just because.
I believe so.
And that seems fishy.
We're releasing it here on stateside? We have whistleblowers all the time now. He's like the only whistleblower that actually said names.
I know, but...
Shout out to that. That's awesome. That's what I want to see with the JFK thing.
Most people who are whistleblowers, like, they're anonymous.
Yeah, you're a wuss. So, to the top degree.
So this guy is now... He's calling people out, and he's giving up his own identity.
Mm-hmm. What are you winning?
And he knows the consequences because he agreed that this is what's going to happen.
Right.
So I feel like he would have already fled.
But on what point though? If he's right, what's the come out? If he's right, what if we deep dive into this and we're able to prove this? This wasn't one of those things. It's like we're going to sit down and go to court about this. It was rather you're going to go to jail, because you done this, or not, or you better get out of here.
So let's say we do the deep dive on it,
okay?
And let's say it comes out that, like,
I actually think Trump will pardon him to come back to the States.
5 of the biggest, like, players in the U.S., whether it's like whoever's the biggest in the money in the U.S., whoever's got the biggest government pool, whoever's got the biggest this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got the biggest pool. They're all involved, right? And then as soon as that information comes out, it cripples our economy. It cripples the government. It cripples everything. And now the way me and you live changes forever.
Was it right or was it wrong?
Yeah, but listen to me on this.
I'm listening, brother.
The guy who's making the choices, he has to think about that for every person that's here.
Is it right or is it wrong?
I don't know. Is it right or is it wrong to let us all die?
In the name of what?
I don't know.
If Trump got shot by a foreign person,
yeah,
I think that means we're about to F you up.
Right.
You've set the guidelines.
But who is? Because not everybody here is going to sign up. That's what makes America free. Not everybody has to go.
No. Not everybody has to go, but I bet you a lot of people would.
Okay, so a lot of people, not everybody.
Not everybody needs to.
So, okay, though. So let's say that happens,
okay,
and our economy's crippled. That affects everyone here.
I understand that.
Okay. So you think that everybody here in America should pay the price?
Somebody's got to.
No. I agree with that. Somebody needs to.
Yeah.
But I said, do you think everybody should?
If it's us, it's us. If we have to struggle to make it right, in the end, we'll know who's the guy watching out. Well, you'll know. There's no
right.
There's no
but I want you to think about this. There's
repercussion.
Once again,
the repercussion doesn't matter to the point of what it is.
The boat that you're in is a real small one.
I understand that.
And there's a lot of more people out there who are in bigger boats,
right? That
are saying, "I've got a family."
Right.
I'm not dealing with the economy going to tank.
You just have to sit down and ask yourself, what do you believe is right or wrong?
So once again, there's going to be a lot of people that do.
But that's why, you know what?
And there's going to be a lot of people that don't.
That's why they can leave.
What do you mean?
That's why you can leave. If our economy crumbles, there's other places where our economy's doing better.
Okay, so let's say the economy crumbles.
Okay.
Let's
another
say
2008.
1 million people lose their job.
Okay.
They have no money.
Gotcha.
How are they going to leave?
Oh, you'll find a way.
They have no money.
You'll find a way, brother.
I don't believe that.
Well, how are you going to live then?
That
you're going to rather die or you're going to find a way?
Just think about all the people, and think about how many people die every day trying to get here from Mexico.
What about it?
My point is then we become. I don't even know what the ranking is on like countries, but we would become one of like the lowest ones on the list.
Oh no, for sure, I understand that. But are we built on good principles, or are we not?
Yeah, we're built on good principles.
Then we'll rebuild.
But guess what? It's irrelevant if we become overrun.
Okay, you're talking about two different scenarios now. Being overrun by somebody is different than our economy just crashing. Because nobody's going to come to it. We're not getting overran if our economy's crashed. Like
That's exactly when that happens.
Nobody wants to come
here. If there's
here.
no money.
Okay.
No, not that they don't want to come here. They'll want to take over. If we're one of the biggest powers in the world,
okay,
and we fall economically, in military aspects, with our government, so a political aspect, and so on and so forth, then a place like Russia or China, who wants more land, they want to grow, that'll be the easiest time of their life to take it.
Then we fight for Then we fight for it. We go back to the old times. You're fighting for it.
Okay.
I mean, because on the end of it, no one ever said the right thing to do is the easiest thing to do. It normally is the hardest thing to do. But you have to believe that you're doing the right thing.
But now, so there's a difference between like, if you believe it's right versus you have to put millions of people in your hands.
I would say read the Bible and come up with the answer.
Because you're no different than like a mass criminal, somebody who kills people in the masses. If you're willing to just let people suffer,
I don't think
for something that happened 20 years ago. Like, do you see my point? Like, if something happened all these years ago,
okay,
and now we release a thing, and all the people who are involved they're not even there no more, but their organizations are still around.
You bring them down.
And somebody brings down all those organizations.
Or it goes to the easy of this, they just apologize.
And then, okay.
I messed up. I'm willing to go to jail. Your business can stay running. I don't give a crap about all that. I'm sure you hired some good employees.
But what if they're dead and the business is around? That's all that's left.
Oh, then there's nothing you can do then.
So what,
if there's nothing,
so what do they gain from releasing that?
Trust in the government, brother. That's what they want. That
I know, but if you already have low trust now,
yes,
most people, if you prove their ideology right, aren't going to turn around and go, you know what, I trust you more because you said that. They're going to say, I trust you less because you proved me right that you're wrong.
But it matters at what level of accountability you're going to come out. If Fauci just came out and said, hey, man, I never knew anything about COVID whatsoever. Yeah. Somebody was just telling me to do something. Yeah. I didn't know about it. That's a very honorable thing that you just did there. I don't trust you fully again.
Right.
But I trust somebody that made you talk.
Okay, but there you go. Somebody made him talk.
Who?
Who was it?
Who's it got to be, though? It's got to be somebody high up. Nobody small is making Fauci talk.
Right.
Right.
But now you have trust in that guy.
That's fine because that guy is probably he's some sort of authority to something else.
Okay, so now I want to think about it from this aspect.
Okay.
If somebody come out and they made Fauci talk, and let's say they make him lie.
Oh, then you're uncredible anymore.
No. But you don't know it. He comes out and he says all the things that people think are true. They're like, hey, here's a list of things that people think are true. You're going to go say this or we're going to massacre your family. And he's like, okay, fine. And he takes that deal. And he goes and he says all these lies publicly.
Why would they want him to do that, though?
To gain your trust. And so now there's one individual. There's one individual
we just said, though,
who you trust even more because he got him to admit that he lied about something, but it's all make-believe. They gave him the script. They said, read this off.
But what are they gaining out of that?
Your trust. More control.
But you're not going to control me no matter what. Just because I trust you doesn't mean that you're going to control me a whole bunch. It's like I have
that literally shapes your ideology.
I have a lot more respect for Mark Zuckerberg coming out and saying, hey, these people told me to do this. Mm-hmm. They told me to censor all this and blah, 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 this and everything. Now, I don't trust the dude fully, Max, anymore, but I'm like, you know what? That's what we want. If he's being true, that's what we want.
So imagine somebody you already have trust in.
Okay.
Let's just say Elon Musk.
I don't have full trust, but I do have a good amount, yes.
So you got a good amount of trust in the guy.
Okay.
And let's say he makes a bunch of really big plays and really builds your trust. And he breaks open a bunch of barriers that people have been questioning for a long time. And everybody really trusts him now. Mm-hmm. He's got, let's say, a 95%, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's enough to shape the way people think.
Yes.
Based off what he says.
Yes.
So now if he can literally shape the way people are thinking and the ideology that you have, he now has control over everybody that believes him in that 95 percentile.
So give me an example that what he would do that was something that would change my mind then. Because I'll never have trust in any of these people as much as I have God. And I have him the one leading the way. Now, the people that don't have that, so it's probably a lot tougher.
Yeah, and I want you to think about that percentage of people who are like that or that trust these people here on earth more.
I would say you need to pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
But there's a lot of them out there. A lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so now, if you have this guy feeding a certain rhetoric, and he goes, we need more electric cars, more efficient.
Okay.
We're working on these semi-trucks. It's going to be less deaths on the road because it's automated.
Okay.
Yada, yada, yada. Oh, by the way, I was able to release these documents about this thing that the government did. And people are like, oh, man, I really trust this guy. I'm glad he was able to get that released.
Okay.
And then he comes out and he says something crazy. Like everybody who's a Jew, don't trust them. They're bad. And their businesses are scheming.
Okay.
And all these people start abandoning those types of people. And they start to build a certain type of story in their mind about what these people and who these people are without even knowing them, based off of one guy's what he said, because he gained their trust.
No, I agree with you here. The only thing that I would just say to that is you do got to fall back on common sense at least.
Dude, throw it out the door. Think about all the people you've met who don't know how to do stuff that we think is simple. Okay.
Why do you think that is, though? Who's implementing that mindset in there? It's not Elon Musk.
Well, I think
it's not Donald Trump. It's not J.D. Vance.
I think there's a lot of people out there who you've got. I'm real cautious about all of them because I'm always worried that they're trying to push some kind of narrative.
And you should be. I agree with that 1,000%.
That I'm not going to agree with. And so that's why I look at it.
But I also,
look at it from a very
you do have to be
lens.
willing to agree on the things that you do think's right. I mean,
yeah, that's fine, and I do that. You know, if you do something that I think's good, then you're more of a piece of crap if you're like they're doing good stuff, but because I don't like them, F them.
Oh no, for sure. No, I agree with that 1,000%.
Okay, so but if I'm willing to be like, all right. I can't argue. Things are looking good for businesses right now.
Right.
My business is booming. But then they also turn around and they say something crazy, and you're like, let's not fall for that kind of rhetoric.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're being active. You're paying attention. You're listening. But there's a lot of people out there who I feel like don't think for themselves, and they don't use common sense. What somebody says is what they go with. They find a guy that they trust, and they just go with whatever they say. There's not a lot of thinking for yourself anymore, or really deep diving into what's being said.
Okay, no, I agree with you 1,000% on that.
And so that's where there's so much like stuff, and that's why I've noticed recently in the news and in sporting events, there's this huge push for celebrities talking about being united. Like, think about the past couple of years. I don't feel like there's been nearly the push as there is now, as well as politicians, I think, who are talking about trying to be more united as a people, because there's so many people out there who are like, man, if Beyonce's saying it, I trust Beyonce.
That's wild.
There's people like that, though.
Okay. No, I'm agreeing with you. But here's a really, really good question.
Yeah.
Let's the last couple years.
Yeah.
It seems that we've seen Donald Trump. Though it seems that we've seen common sense go down.
Mm-hmm.
In these next 4 years.
Yeah.
You think it'll be a higher percentage or a lower percentage of common sense?
Of common sense, I actually think for the next 4. We're either going to break even. We're going to hold steady about where we're at, and people are going to start to move forward, or we'll get like maybe a small.
Meaning what? How you're not moving forward if you're staying in the same place?
So I think people they're either going to stay in the same place, or there'll be a slight progress made.
So what? 10%?
Maybe 10%.
I kind of think I'm hanging out kind of around like 10%.
Because other than that, like, there's no way we get a 50% change.
No.
There's no shot.
There's no shot.
And I think even 25%'s pushing it. Like, if you were able to get a 25% turnaround on the way the average American thinks and addresses problems. Now, I will say,
okay, let's break that down though.
Well, here, 1 second. That's actually something I'm about to segue into. So, I have seen an uptick recently in certain, ideologies and different types of notions, and there's been an uptick in, I think, Christianity and its values.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a lot more people talking about it and posting about it. I've seen a lot more Christian things being circulated. And don't get me wrong, there's good and there's bad on every side. So there's people out there who are pushing narratives that are probably negative, and that's what it is. But then the same thing goes for politics. I've actually heard about a lot of people recently who I feel like have the potential to be doing better for our country. the governor of Oklahoma. We actually got to listen to him speak
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
I think he's pushing the narrative in the right direction for people to have a better opportunity to have those common sense type of learning. Talking about the way that he's progressing learning in his state. He's making it easier for the parent to choose what kind of learning their children are getting.
And you remember the one thing biggest thing that he talked about? He thinks there should be less government because nobody trusts the government.
Well,
Because common sense levels, I think, are rising.
I think that's the second. That's the second biggest thing he said. The number one biggest thing that he said and that I've been harping on is it's up to whoever is the parental figure.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Whoever has the biggest impact on young people in their life. So outside of like being on the internet, that's what I'm getting at. Like that's why so many people listen to these celebrities. It's because there's so many young people who don't have good role models, and so they'll pick a celebrity to be their role model, and then they just fall in line with those people's values and beliefs, and they never take the time to figure out what they stand for.
Right.
And so it really falls on. And yeah, the less government, that's good. I think it should be not that it's less government, but it's more state. We need less federal, more state.
Yes.
And more.
Because I think
more role models, like we just did an episode about.
Because I think that increases the level. I think that increases the level of common sense. Because the whole question is like the chicken and the egg question. Which one came first?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to blame the parents, or are we supposed to blame the people that's influenced the parents?
Right.
Because if you didn't have kids and you watch a bunch of social media, then you love Beyonce, then you have a kid, well, obviously you're going to carry on because of whatever.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a two-part question, because if you weren't somebody that had good values implemented on you when you grew up, you're probably not going to be the person that influences the good values.
Right.
Or let alone just the common sense in general.
Right.
So it's definitely a hard one to pick with.
Yeah.
But I still think in the end, it comes down. I think a lot of people nowadays will associate common sense with the right thing, and there might be a little bit to kind of that. I might agree with that to a certain extent, but it really does boil down to the question everybody asks: what would Jesus do in this moment?
Yeah.
Is Jesus going to let everybody know the right thing if it's going to cost a lot of things, or is he not? And we all know the answer to that.
Yeah.
So that's why, bringing it all back to it, we encourage people out there to go find something that's bigger than yourself to be about.
Yeah.
And obviously we're Christians, so we're a little biased towards that.
Yes.
But before you even really deep dive into that, just go find some group of people that you enjoy listening to, and try to use common sense. Let's say this too. Don't go follow like the KKK or something like that.
Yeah.
Just let's use some common sense and people that love other people, because that is going to be the thing that ends up healing everything. Even if we all went crashed and burned, if we had a good group of people at the end, you will rebuild. And we're prideful about our country as well.
Yeah.
If we fell down to nothing, we did that in 2008. We went through an economical crash of a lifetime, and look at us now. I'm not saying everything's perfect.
No.
I'm saying, but there's a lot of people trying to get here, and ask yourself, why is that?
Yeah.
It's because it's one of the greatest countries out there.
Well, and that's even something that I always talk about is think about, so let's say we do got some dirty laundry, okay? Let's say we do got some secrets. Let's say they are covering something up with the JFK. Guess what? The people who are trying to get here, they genuinely don't care. Not right now.
No, they don't care.
They literally just want to have a better life, and they know that whatever we're doing here is better. And I was thinking about this the other day, and this may be some good food for thought for the listeners. I was thinking about our freedoms, the things that we're literally able to do. It's unmatched.
It's crazy.
And I was thinking about it. My brother just went on a trip, and he was in a country where and he went to like a northern part where there's a lot of polar bears up in Norway. And you have to have a gun in this one area, like by law, because there's so many bears that like you could just get mauled. And then I think it was my mom was telling me, and I don't know if it was Norway or if there's another country where there's a lot of like bears. Maybe it was Alaska. But it's common practice to leave your doors unlocked on your vehicle so that in case you come out of a gas station and there's a freaking bear, you can jump in somebody's car to get away. That's common practice. And so I want you to think about all the things that you do have access to, and that's not like you have to have this because of this. It's just like you can have one because you want one, and you know what? If you don't, if you're like, I'm not carrying that, I love polar bears, and if it eats me, it eats me.
That's right.
Then this is the place for you.
It's the place.
Okay?
It's awesome.
And so, I think everybody should be a little kinder to their neighbor.
Yeah.
And really think about the things that you have 100% choice over.
Yeah. No.
So,
great way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Been a great pod. I
Dude.
love the awesome I hope y'all have a great day. I hope you can go find good best friends like this guy right here to have good discussions with, because as you can see, we're not mad at each other.
No.
We still love each other, but it's just interesting to understand other people's views.
Yeah.
So go out there and have discussions. In the end, you might make a best friend.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. John, you got anything else?
No, I told you I was going to be a little feisty today. I feel like I got a little feisty there. But, hey, like he said, we're good. It's all chill.
Yeah.
It's a conversation. We're trying to learn, and we're trying to better understand what's going on. So we appreciate y'all. Leave us a like. Leave us a comment. Get down in them comments, please. And subscribe.
Yep. Later, guys.
Later.